Funny story. Sorry. So Eternal Density is saying, I think LRR has made my accent more Canadian. That in most of the TV I watch. What's weird is, this has happened both times. When we've gone to Australia, some of the Australians have said that our accent is more pronounced in person than it is on the videos.
What?
Interesting.
Is it like how when you sing, your accent doesn't show up as much?
Maybe.
Now, might that be because when we're in the videos, we're reading dialogue written for us?
Yeah,
Maybe.
When we're speaking.
Yeah.
So the first time somebody said I had a Canadian accent, I freaked out. Because it's like, but I just talk normal.
I only hear it with certain words. Like sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Linguistically, the Pacific Northwest does have the most neutral accent.
Well, I was told, since I'm...
No.
Yeah, it's not an accent.
Still an accent, just very neutral. And I learned this after Final Fantasy 12. All the characters had Commonwealth accents. So like the villains had New Zealand accents, and there was South African in there, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And the main cast had, to my ears, no accent. Which I was like, wait a minute. They have Western Canadian accents. They just have, to my ears, no accent. And it turns out that, yeah, from the Pacific Northwest, it's just linguistically pretty neutral. Still an accent, but not just, they don't have a lot of extremes.
Yeah.
Except for sorry.
I was told since I was born and grew up in Louisiana, since I've started playing Red Dead Redemption 2, my accent is bad.
Coming back.
Like it's back. Because while I'm playing it, I'm like, look at these guys over here. Like, so yeah, I can see it happen.
Sorry, speaking of accents, Graham, I had a wonderful anecdote to tell you from when I was watching Milt playing Resident Evil 4. Milt is a streamer who I really love from Chile, and he was talking about how the enemies in Resident Evil 4 say things in Spanish.
Yeah.
And he was like, first of all, most of it's gibberish. And it's supposed to take place in Spain. He's like, second of all, they all have Mexican accents.
That's weird.
Whoopsie!
Well, they never say where it is, like in the game.
I mean, it looks pretty clearly like.
Oh yeah, no. I'm not saying that it's not in Spain, but it's never specified exactly. So I think they're just sort of like it's Spain.
I know what happens in singing. That it seems like everyone sings with a comparatively flat accent. Is that diphthongs, and then if you're singing in French, triphthongs get flattened into, I'm not going to be able to come up with the name for it. It's represented in linguistics with the upside down E. So as many sounds as possible, and many vowel sounds.
It's a schwa, isn't it?
Yeah, the schwa. Thank you very much. Get just flattened down to what is actually the simplest position for your mouth to make, so that if you're holding it open, you just naturally make the and so if you listen to people sing, there's a lot of sounds, and it comes out as a flat mid-Atlantic accent more.
The first time I noticed that actually was Lefty.
Wow.
The first time I noticed that was my sister had the Spice World PS1 game, and there was like interviews with them as like a bonus feature, and you would never have particularly imagined the Spice Girls having terribly thick accents, but then one of the interviews they were talking about like venues they'd love to play, and Mel B was talking about, oh, I love to play Bradford Alhambra, and I was just like,
holy moly.
Whoa! It's like they all had like thick different regions, but they all had thick regional accents, and it's just gone when they sang. That was the first time I was like, "What's up with this?"
I hear it when you say about.
About.
Oh yeah.
Out and about.
Out and about.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely.
when you do any shooting in the U.S., they want you to get rid of that really quickly. You got to sort of train about. Because you go on the set, you say that one word, everyone's like, cut.
Gotta open.
Could you not be casual?
Have to open your mouth more.
You gotta get on down south.
South.
And eat some chili and
Pronounce your U's
collard
like
greens.
W's.
Chitlin.
Chitlins, yeah.
Eat
Give
some possum
me
I got on the side of the road.
chitlins and grits and biscuit and gravy.